All right, we are live. Welcome back to another episode of Comics Dello Morte, episode 31, Morning Star. And I am Ronnie Gunter, Crimson Owl Comics, and my co-host, Frog Breaker Studios, Jason Alexander.
What's
And
up, everybody?
before we, get into the book, of course, I'm gonna let Jason promote what he's got going on, and then I'm gonna promote what I got going on.
All right. Mini Comic Bundles Volume 5 is out. I'll keep it short and sweet tonight. Volume 5 has 3 stories. It's got the drive-in, issue 5 of Hourglass, and closing out the wrestling story, Paradigm Shift. So check out the books, guys. Volume 6 is coming soon. It's a really, really cool horror story in Volume 6. I'm excited for everybody to see. I'll tell you about it in a little bit, Ronnie, but
Awesome,
it's a
awesome.
pretty cool book. So yeah, check out minicomicbundles.com.
All right, sweet. And me, if you want to go on to my Ko-fi soon, I didn't do it last night. I was very tired. I got my first vaccine, so awesome for that. And I'm not mutated. Nothing's wrong with me. Just go out and do what you need to protect you and your family. So,
Word up.
and with me, if you go to my Ko-fi account, I am going to have up my creepy horror leprechaun St. Patrick's Day artwork going on. So yeah, if you want to buy that, or just like I said, at the end
It's
of the month,
looking pretty good
wait
too,
for
man.
the 12-day, wait for the whole calendar to come out, because in the beginning of April you're going to have Easter, and I got a crazy wicked design for an Easter bunny.
I
So
can't wait. I can't wait, man. Well, I mean, I'm ready to just get right into it this week.
right, all right.
This book
So
is so
what do you
good.
think of Morning Star? And for anyone that doesn't know, we're leaving off with the actress. Well, she's an aspiring actress. She was a waitress, and then she was trying to be an actress. So Pearl, who last time, if you hadn't seen the episode, she literally got attacked by a bunch of zombies in a penthouse mansion, and then
Yep.
they just threw her in the desert, not realizing that she was still alive in this whole pit of like dead bodies.
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy scene. And so now it's like it's kicking off with these people spying in on her. It's a little bit of a time jump. I'm not
Mhm.
100% on how many years it is exactly, but like we're in the 1920s now. So
Well,
some
yeah, it's
time
still the
has passed.
1920s during that
Yeah,
time.
there was a
Yeah.
other was number 2 was in the 1920s.
The first book was in 1920s, and then the second book took place in the Western days. So it's
That's
kind of,
right.
yeah.
That's
So it's
right.
like an
So it was a
origin story.
flashback. I
It's an
got you.
origin story of Sweet,
Yeah,
and then how he met Pearl, pretty much.
right. Yeah, this book, the artwork is so different than the last book, but it still
Mhm.
works so well. Like I love the colors through this whole story. It was such a blast.
Oh yeah, and just I love how they set up these whole like panel covers,
Yeah.
just like an old school book. But yeah, here we're pretty much in July
Yep.
1925. I think the beginning of it was maybe a little bit earlier, so they probably don't know what happened to her, but they're trying to check her
Sure.
quarters.
Yep.
Raphael, the artist, he did a great job just with the colors, and even with the colors, they're not bright colors, they're dull colors, colors that you would probably see during that during
Yeah.
that
It's
time
all
period.
earth tones. You get
Yeah.
the feeling of like that red mud blowing in the
Hmm.
wind and like just covering everything over years and years and years. It's
Yeah,
it's
for
such a
sure.
cool look. And
Yeah.
outside the scene looks a lot like that traditional southwestern style of art, but
Hmm.
just the colors in this hospital room that's pristine now that they wasn't expecting because
Yeah.
they're going in to
Hmm.
check on Pearl. So the question is, where is Pearl? Like that's what the question of the book leads off with. Getting tongue tied. The question the book leads off with is, where's Pearl?
Yeah, exactly. And I just love the color choices that he picked, especially with like the pictures here. You could tell the pictures were taken during like that time period where
Yeah,
everything was like pretty much like still black and white,
yeah,
and little color was exposed. So yeah, just great work
Yep.
for
Just
not just the
have the right
writer, but
feel.
for the artist to actually go out and like, okay, besides doing the design work on how the women's hair is supposed to be, what clothes that men and women wear, like what type of color tones did they have? Because they didn't have these bright neon colors like you would see for the 80s and stuff like that. So great
Right.
job to him.
Yeah, just the right touches. And it makes all the difference when you're doing a period piece if
Hmm.
you stay true to it, and you don't make it look super crisp and you don't make it, the pictures wouldn't be in full color.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I just love the type of yellow that he picked
That's
for
what I was
this
talking
desert
about. It's like
scene.
he goes back
Really good.
to that southwestern old west look,
For
and
sure.
the reds pop through this whole book. Like the reds are like my favorite color through
Yeah,
this
like the hands here.
entire book. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't, like, I have a favorite picture in this book, but we'll get to it. I'm not gonna jump ahead too far. So
All right. And so here we're at the pretty much the thumbnail where literally now we see that her friends went looking for Pearl and they
yep,
found her. And you could
yep.
see just Pearl's arm right
She's
here, the right side.
mangled. Yeah.
It is shredded to pieces.
Yep.
Like there is, I could only imagine the pain that this woman was in.
Yeah. She's in rough shape. She looks like
Hmm.
she was thrown in a pit of zombies.
Yeah, for sure. And I just love the car design here. Raphael did just a really good job.
Yeah. Through the book, like, this book looks more current. Like, this book feels different than the one previous because it's
Hmm.
back in a more current time, even though it's set in the 20s. The
Yeah.
brightness kind of makes you realize that it's a little bit more present than the story we read last week.
Hmm. Yeah. So pretty much at this point, they're like, Pearl, no, no, get her in the car. And then why get her in the car? They're so freaked out and they
Yep.
don't know why. And look, that's even more upfront. She's topless. So pretty much, who knows? They could have literally, besides feeding off her, they could have literally raped her. We don't know. But clearly within the first book, she was wearing clothes at the moment. And now she's
Yep.
topless and just running and walking the desert like tore up. So yeah, just a horrifying scene there.
Yep. It's such a crazy story. Like, they get her
Hmm.
to the hospital. They're trying, they can't see what's wrong with her because
Yeah.
they're looking at it from a physical standpoint that she just
Hmm.
got on the surface wounds, even though she's beaten.
Yeah. And for anyone, why I really stopped at this page right now, I like this page for the one reason is that, you know, we see a lot of building designs, but this building design kind of reminds me of the type of style that you'd see a building back in the old ECW, like Tales of Tales of the Crypt and stuff. So I
Yep.
really wonder if like Raphael, since he has worked with Stephen King, if he is like old school EC comics fan, just
Yeah.
because like you could tell the styles there.
Well, yeah, it's the big hospital sign,
Hmm.
on the front of the hospital. But the crazy thing about this panel, like, is how small it is on the
Yeah.
actual, like, how much detail is in this picture.
Hmm.
But it's such a small portion, and it's probably 20% of the page.
Yeah.
Like,
I
look at
I
how
zoomed
small
out for
that.
people to see.
Yeah, it's crazy how much attention to detail, because that's an easy panel to just
Yeah.
fill a block, fill a series of blocks in with color and call it good.
Hmm. Yeah.
And just
Exactly.
get inside the hospital. But this is like a movie scene shift.
Yeah.
It's just awesome.
And I love his facial features here that he got for her friend, just because you could tell the sadness that she
Yeah,
has. Because literally,
heartbroken. Yeah,
as anyone out there watching, like I said with the second one, I mean the first video, these two girls are pretty much like actresses that did a lot of stuff in Hollywood together. They were extras in films. They pretty much were like the two broke girls for that time period.
I was gonna say Lucy and Ethel, but no, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, just great facial expressions there.
Yep.
And like here, she's like, "But you said they were just skin deep, the animal bites." But yeah, you could tell those are not skin deep.
Yeah.
She had a chunk taken out of her,
Yep.
and
But
yeah,
you know,
just
it's like it's a lot of wounds, and the doctor is saying, you know,
mhm.
how her body is failing because of blood loss.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
it's just it's such an intense page, you know, because it reads like a movie script. Like this page in
Yeah, it
particular,
really
because
does.
it's super high drama. Like you forget all the horror, all the old west stuff,
Hmm.
all of that stuff is completely out the window now. It's like you're invested in what's happening in this hospital. You know, because this other girl is like, go and just tell her just to take as
Yeah,
much
Haiti.
blood as they need to
Yeah,
out of her to save her, you know.
yeah, that's her name, Haiti, the redhead.
Yeah,
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 because that's pretty much her only family because Hades probably like her. She was grown up in a family and she wanted to become an actress, so she probably, left at a young age and just went out straight off to Hollywood with no
yeah.
one there to support her, which pretty much a lot of people back in the 1920s did. They would leave family at like 17, 16 and just go out to Hollywood and hope to make it big. So, yeah.
That's nuts. And then
But
this
yeah.
the scene completely shifts on the
Hmm.
out on the next page. It's like you go all the way down, like in this deep emotion, and then
I
it's
love
like
this panel right here.
darkness,
Yeah.
and then good old Sweet shows up.
Yep. Oh
You
man.
know, this page is so different and it's so
Hmm.
good. Like from how bright these previous pages are, how much black is in this page. Like you
Yeah.
get the sense that she's
But
laying in a hospital bed with the
yeah.
window open.
But he captured the fireworks really good because this is happening on 4th of July.
Right.
So, you know, which I could say myself, it is hard to draw fireworks and to not make it look very cartoony. So yeah, good job
Right.
on that.
Yeah, to either not make it look cartoony or not make it just look like a bunch of scritchy scratches. You
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
it's the
Hmm.
same thing. It's in color, but it's
Yeah.
very similar to how we were talking about the line work that Junji Ito used in Uzumaki, where it's
Yeah.
easy just to fill it in with black, but when you can put texture on things,
Hmm.
it
For
just takes it
sure.
up a notch. Like the bottom half of this page, like with the shading of Sweets on her
Hmm.
face,
Yeah.
like when he's in this window. It's just so awesome.
And pretty much here that you see Sweets, he's by now he's a vampire from like the old west.
Yep.
And pretty much she's like almost completely comatose. I mean, still I can't.
Yep.
Yeah, 149th birthday. So yeah, shows you how old the
Yep.
birthday is, and I think he's kissing her or like biting her, turning her into a vampire at this point. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I think he like sucked blood out of her
Mhm.
eyeball blood vessel.
But
Ugh.
I don't. But this one right here, I mean, there's many shots I would take, but I would definitely want this as a poster because this is just great artwork right here. It's very simple, but just the design of her eyes completely like dead at this point because she is dead. You can see she's dead,
Yep.
and just but the color choices that he picked and just seeing like only the grin of her teeth and everything. Just a really great shot and a very horrifying scene here that he captured beautifully.
Even though most of her face is in black,
Hmm.
it's there.
Yeah,
It's just in shadow. Like it's there. Like this is a very well drawn face in
yeah,
in 3 dimensions on a page. Like it looks so
for
good.
sure. Hmm.
But yeah, the next page is this is my favorite page. Like the close going into it, it's like these red flowers, which is
Oh
the tattoo
yeah.
that she ends up with on her back. But the contrast of the red on this page is just it's
Oh yeah.
so
This one.
intense. Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
is
Beautiful work here.
one of my favorite pages. Yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure. So pretty much here, she's just having a flashback of with her and her family. Like one thing's for certain, they're not. taken me back to that prison alive. So she's pretty much just playing with, a twig, probably playing with her toys. And like Jason was saying, you have everything else like a palish greenish color almost, and then you have these bright colored flowers because it's just reminiscing about her childhood.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the story is so good in this book in particular. I feel like this is surprisingly like even over. I don't think that Stephen King wrote this story,
No,
but
it was Snyder that
this is
did.
Snyder,
Uh,
right?
yeah.
This story is really, it's a really good read. Like I enjoyed reading this whole story.
Hmm.
And it's not a lot of words either. It's
No.
very low on dialogue, but it's everything means something. Like
Yeah, for sure.
everything counts. And that's strong storytelling. It really is.
So yeah, pretty much if you guys are saying she's just asking her father, why are you reaping all these flowers at this point? And then bam, he is a vampire, and that is a horrifying looking vampire
I was
right
gonna say
there.
another jump scare in a book. You get the
Yeah,
sense that he's
exactly.
screaming around at her,
Hmm.
and it's enough to wake her up
Yeah, for sure.
from the dead in a morgue.
Yeah. And just, oh man, look at all those horrifying dead bodies.
Yeah, but it's all so well done. Like, look at this guy with the eyeball. He obviously probably got shot
Yeah.
in a
Hmm.
like a gunfight or something.
For sure. And you could see that his brains are exposed and everything. Just, yeah. Great, great detail,
Yeah.
great colors. Just you could tell it's in a dark place and not very well lit just
I
because of the
dig
colors.
Ronnie, I dig this gruesome so much more than I did the Hellraiser book. Like, this is equally gruesome,
Yeah,
but it's just
but it had meaning to it.
yeah, it's got substance, and
Yeah.
like that's when it's worth doing.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just so good. Like everything about this page is like unsettling, and how scary would it be to know you shouldn't be alive, but you wake up in a morgue and you
Hmm.
have to look at this is the first things that you see.
Yeah, I mean, if people don't know, just for a fun fact, back in the day when, people had like fell into comas or people had like sleep paralysis, when they were buried in the ground, they would actually put like a string on a person's toe, and then there would be a bell above ground. So if you heard like a bell ringing in the cemetery, that means that person was alive and buried alive.
Oh man, can you imagine?
I mean, crazy shit to be
Nuts.
like, to realize that you're in a sleep paralysis and you don't know what's going on, and then next moment you're like in the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Yeah. Fun facts.
Fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, just going on. Like I said, I just love the whole colors because, like I said, you could tell what areas don't really have much of a lighting, and you just have the moonlighting because next to the other page you have now the lamp area here, and it has like those yellow tones, unlike the blue tones.
Yep. Yep. And those are, I remember like so many of my older family members that I would get to see sometimes had this particular, like this old timey lampshade
Oh
that
yeah.
was
Hmm.
that glass with the different patterns of stained glass on the
I
around the
used to
edge
have
of it.
I used to have one like that, but it had like wolves and a Native American on it, and
Oh,
it's
that
one of
sounds
those.
cool.
Oh yeah, for sure, and it's one of those things. Unlike pulling a string, you tap on it and went on. Yeah, awesome stuff.
Yeah.
So pretty much here now, she's fully dressed and he's just in the bed,
Yes. Sweets
just
in
saying hi
there
to.
talking that
Yeah,
talk.
Sweet's just
Yep.
saying hi. Yeah, it's
So
just
she
fun.
knows that he's a vampire, and she's talking to him about, you know, what happened to her, and this is when she finds out that she died. Like in this conversation,
Hmm.
like this story was very exciting. Like it was an action movie. Like
Yeah,
this story was very actiony. Like it didn't really feel Western. It was just very exciting.
for
Um,
sure.
with the drama from the hospital scene to now it's like ticking up the horror. And this is just page by page. It's like
Hmm.
every page of this book is a chapter so far. It's just a really, really good, it's a really fun read.
Oh yeah. And I just love the dialogue here. It's like, what happened to me? And he's
Yep.
just saying, an evil old queen put you to deep sleep, so I came along and gave you a kiss.
Yep.
Oh, just funny stuff. And that's what I love too, is that they have great dialogue between each other.
Yeah, just like banter, like
Hmm.
Han Solo and Princess Leia banter. It's like they have the same rhythm to their banter. It's not romantic, but it's there. Like their back and forth is there this whole story.
Yeah. And it's just like, you've got your fairy tales mixed up, asshole. Now what happened to me? Well, the bad news is you dead. like, well, that's the bad news. I don't want to know what the good news is. And yeah, just great eye design here. He really captures that like shock moment.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's the same amount of emotion that was in like the sad
Hmm.
part of the story,
Yeah, for
but
sure.
it's in this of like now it's like she's shocked at where the story goes next and
Hmm.
what her part is in it because she died, and it's like,
Yeah,
how am I talking to you if I died?
right.
And Sweets is like, you know what happened, and so she's talking about being eaten by these zombies,
Yeah.
and now,
Well, vampires, but
well, yeah,
yeah.
vampires. I don't know why I want to say zombies. I just keep seeing get her getting thrown in the pit of dead bodies.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah,
sure,
like okay, in Walking Dead that would be zombies,
for
but
sure.
she can feel herself turning into a vampire. She knows she's different.
Hmm.
In this mirror scene. Oh man, I'm telling the story faster than you're showing the pictures. Oh my
No,
bad.
it's fine. It's
But
fine.
it's just
But
such a
yeah,
cool
here, I
story.
mean, here too, I just love that this is just one panel and showing his reflection and everything, because he's laid
Yeah,
back and he's just acting cool while she's freaking out that she's dead. It just
right.
shows that, he's like, okay, I've done this song and dance. I've seen a lot of people do this. I'm
Right.
just waiting
Catch
for you to
yourself up.
relax.
Right. Yeah. Catch yourself up with what happened. You know what happened. So talk it out so you can get over the
Hmm.
shock over it.
And I really wonder if, like, the artist, if he stood up against a wall and took a picture, because that's one thing about being an artist too, is trying to find out how uh the light will capture your shadow
Yeah.
against
Where does
things.
your body fall? Like when you
Hmm.
stand this way, what does your body do when you're not thinking about it? Like, even if
Yeah.
you don't, I don't draw, I should draw from reference, and I'm really trying to get better at it. But you can see the difference in drawing from reference
Hmm.
for the lot of us. It's like there are some people who have like Kim Jung Gi who have like this super intense visual library, but
Oh yeah.
it's nice to see where your body falls in
Hmm.
real life, or where a body falls to get everything right. Like, where would the shadow be on the inside of the shirt
Yeah. Hmm.
while you're sitting on the sofa? Because it
If
wouldn't
it's
just
coming
be
from this light
straight
angle
up
or
and
that
stiff
light
and
angle.
straight up and down. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. So just the attention to detail again. This is not a splash picture. This is just a panel on a page,
Hmm.
but the attention is there.
And like you were saying, the whole part where she's getting ready to see if she casts as a reflection.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
And
just like look at the reflections. It's so
right.
cool. So this picture of Sweets right beside of this, Ronnie, is that not a Freddy Krueger face?
Right?
Like,
It kind of reminds me of that, or Slender
yeah,
Man,
yeah.
something like that.
Just
Yeah,
like this,
just
just not this one, the one beside, like the next panel
oh
over.
yeah, let me see.
Like,
Oh
is
yeah,
that
yeah,
not
yeah.
Freddy Krueger? Like, it's so
Right.
cool. Like,
And I love the choice that instead of like typical like red eyes for the vampires, he gave them yellow, you know.
right. Right, and the cool thing about this, like, here's the like the twist in the regular Dracula story, because
Hmm.
now it's a vampire story because she's a vampire, but Sweet says like you're a vampire like me, and there's a difference between us and the vampires like them.
Yeah,
So now it's
and
like, okay, what is that? Like number
yeah, and
one, they're daywalkers essentially.
yeah, they're American. They're like he's the first American vampire, so it
Right,
makes you wonder, like with the European vampires, unlike the Americans, what's different about the Americans that can make them literally walk during the day?
right. Yeah, it's just a really it was a really interesting spin. Like
Hmm.
everybody has to do it. You know what I mean? Like if you tell
Yeah.
a story with these classic horror tropes, like this is one of the pillars, like Dracula,
Hmm.
vampires. That's one of the pillars of what horror is. So what's your contribution to it going to be that makes yours stand out against it? You know, kind of like Scott Snyder did with Young and the Dead, was like, what are these zombies do that zombies in the regular world don't do? Check
Yeah.
this out. You know, so now these American vampires can walk in the day.
Yeah.
So that's a
Hmm.
big thing right there.
And he's like evolution, my
Yep.
dear Watson. No. Yeah. So yeah, he's just pretty much telling here is like evolution. Yep, evolution. And you and me, we're it. I don't understand. Well, I don't expect you to. Yeah, but it's important to hear because you're already in the thick of it things. So I'll make it as simple as I can. You Pearl Jones are a different kind of vampire. I could just see him talk like that.
Right. Yeah, it would be so unexpected, but it would be exactly what Sweets would talk like. Like he's
Yeah.
definitely a what in tarnation kind of guy.
Yeah. Or I just wonder he's like one of those people too that he'll be talking a lot while he's like eating candy or sucking a lolly pop
Yep.
like a sucker or something because he's
Yep.
just got that sweet tooth persona in him. So yeah.
Yeah. This was a pretty, I've said it 1,000 times, but it's just like every time I'm looking over these pages, it's
Hmm.
this is a book that's worth the price of admission. Like this
Oh
story was
yeah,
like
for
worth
sure.
getting into the story at large for. So
Hmm.
man, I gotta say, like just hearing him lay out the rules and all these different things that they can do, and you know what it's leading up to. And I'm not
Yeah,
gonna get too far ahead of it,
for
but
sure. But it's one of those things that, like you said, it's great to have people just come up with so many great ideas for a story that has been told so many times. And
yeah,
me and you have, I mean, before we even started this channel, me and Jason has been on other people's channels like Marshall Lee and so many others to talk about stuff. And one of the topics we talked about is how can you take a story that's been told so many times and make it new? Like how many
right,
times can you take a vampire story and make it different and make it fresh, unlike the other one
yep.
before?
And here it is. Like this feels. This, I guess that's what I like the most about it. Is like this was the book that felt different. Like
Hmm.
this was like, okay, now we're doing more than just telling a comic book story. Like get
For
invested
sure.
in this story. And this
Mhm.
was where it just kind of really took off.
Yeah. So he's pretty much just telling the people that attacked her block and his kind were like the old broken down European clunkers. So pretty much just saying that, they're from the past and we're
Right,
the new age.
right. They're like Bonnie and Clyde, but vampires.
Right? Pretty much. That's what I'm thinking.
Right? Yeah, it seems like that's the direction that these two are going in,
Yeah.
like just going on a feeding frenzy.
Hmm.
So he's just leaving her out there to fend for herself a little bit longer.
Yeah.
See you around, like figure it out.
Hmm.
Now you know you're a vampire.
And pretty much that's just what the dialogue is here through most of these pages. She's trying to stop him and it's like you need to teach me what to do. I don't know what I'm doing. So pretty much that's why we're just going through the pages. But I
Right.
just, you know, going back to I just love the shadows and the black line that he done on the artwork here. Just really great work.
Yep.
especially this one right here on the left. You could tell like that square how it's like almost crooked in a way. That's like a window of a light of a window shining in. So that's great.
It's a money page. Like
For sure.
this page, like the first page that had shadow was like mostly black with these pops of color. These
Hmm.
pages are like really colorful, but they have so much texture because of how much shadow they have on them.
Yeah,
It
for sure.
almost looks like a color version of like Sin City.
Yeah.
It's got that same like heavy, thick shadow vibe to it.
Hmm.
But just again, just this lays the groundwork. Like these past few pages, and it's like I just don't find it fun to read all this. What it's like, no, go read this book. Like it's worth your time to go read. But like this is the world building pages. Like you
Yeah.
find out on these pages that like this is kind of like the tutorial in a video game. Like
Hmm.
he's leaving. He's not going to walk her through what goes next. And he just leaves her a little note that says, here's the things that they like. Here's the things that we like, but I'm not really gonna tell you what we like because you need to start figuring some stuff out. But these old vampires on their list of dislikes, you're on their list of things that they don't like specifically. So, and then he says, I just
And
left her a little something in the closet,
and I just find it funny. He's like blood, moonlight, vaguely close. Like what? And then just you know, like you said, it's just
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it's such just a very Skinner sweet note. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like not the
And then
romantic Skinner sweet, but the other Skinner sweet.
and like at this point, people are like, why is he leaving her? But now we know that someone is in that closet.
Right.
And that was his purpose all along for her to pretty much start taking revenge on people that wronged her. And
Right.
who is it?
Chase
Voila.
Hamilton. Yeah. Yep.
Chase Hamilton, the motherfucker. This is my channel. I'm not cussing. This isn't not kid friendly either. This is not a kid friendly channel either because I mean we've had nudity in these comics, so
Yep.
So this is literally the guy in the first book, the leading actor in that movie where he was having her to basically be a step-in for the leading actress, and he's like, hey, come to this Hope Mansion. I got a bunch of friends that you should meet. And then he set her up.
He was the setup
Hey
man.
Gary,
Yep.
what's up?
What's up, Gary? How's it going, man? Yeah, he was the setup man, and it's like this is her first point of revenge, and
Hmm.
it's so fitting. And then it's like you don't get. He's taking your ability to react to what's getting ready to happen away because this guy deserved what his end was. Like he met his end, and so it's like now you realize, like, okay, this is a vampire who I can be on the same side as.
Right.
Because this guy is despicable, and this transition is. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself again. But leading up to this page, like this tension of her flashback,
Right.
you can
Hmm.
feel like that she would have enjoyed this, letting this transformation happen to her while she's thinking
Yeah.
about all these things.
And just look at how horrifying that is. I mean, like you saw at the beginning of the book, she was literally her clothes were shredded, her skin was shredded, she was topless. So yeah, like I said, they probably literally sucked
Yeah,
her
these
blood.
guys were
They probably sucked her
disgusting.
blood,
Yeah.
raped her, who knows, and just horrifying stuff. And she's just remembering all of this.
Yep. It was just
And it's like,
ugly, and it invested you in remembering, like, okay, this is
yeah.
not just some poor schmo that Skinner Sweet stuck in a closet for her to feed on. Like, this is somebody who this is where she gets to see what she's made out of. Like, and
Yeah.
she gets to get a little bit of payback in the
Hmm.
process.
And now we get to see what she looks like as a vampire. And man, I love this vampire design.
It's so good. It's so like You can
But right,
feel like the
yeah.
bones breaking and snapping for her
Hmm.
to take on her transformation.
Look
And
at that.
yeah, it's such an intense
Like her
fucking
hand, that
transformation.
reminds me of freaking American Werewolf in London, where the
Yep,
whole werewolf hand is changing like that. But gruesome, just love it.
for
That's
sure.
definitely something I would want as a poster too.
For sure. Like this story. Like this is where the horror meets all this story
Mhm.
that has been told this whole time. So
Yeah, and that just goes back to what we were saying on, trying to create something fresh out of a story. Try to draw a vampire or a werewolf or anything like that, or even like if you're going to do Frankenstein, because Frankenstein and Dracula, they're public domain, so you could write your own version. Look at how we did Frankenstein Alive Alive. That Frankenstein is different from the movie. The your mind is a big imagination that has possible uh you know things to come up with. You
yep,
can make something different. So I
yep,
I love it.
yep. This does have a lot of werewolf elements,
Yeah.
but
Hmm.
at the same time, like you got to remember, like this is what Skinner was talking about. They are different. They're different vampires.
Hmm.
They're not vampires that you read about. They're not European vampires. They are
Yeah.
different. And Chase Hamilton has found out firsthand, like, but she didn't kill him.
Hmm.
She made it happen. Like she got her payback on him.
Yeah. And now you can see that he's like, oh no. And then you see this great blood splatter effect. Love it. And now he's running away from her, asking for help. And you see the blood gushing from his body. And you could tell, like, again, it's there during that time period piece because look at his underwear. It has the buttons in the back. Oh, man.
But
I envy for people that try to pull that down to take a crap.
but you know
uh,
what's so crazy is like you can see like this venom in the next picture. Like you can see it like into
hmm.
his skin from what she's doing to him, but it doesn't matter because he's not gonna survive. But
Yeah, because it makes you wonder, like, does that mean he's changing into a vampire as
that's what I
well?
was thinking. Yeah,
Hmm.
like is he instantly from a scratch changing into a vampire because she
Yeah.
hasn't bitten him?
But I definitely give props because the vein work is really nice because that's another thing trying to make veiny stuff look not like very like tacky looking, and he really sold it here by making it look horrifying just with the blood effect.
Yeah, such a good, strong, like visual storytelling page. The
Yeah, and
colors are all
it's
good.
not like a bright blue, it's like a dull bluish green.
Yeah, it's like poison,
Yeah.
toxin, like something
Hmm.
is not right inside of his body. And you
For
can
sure.
see it down his neck. You can see it like getting into his arm. Like he is making it like it's making them as like a neurotoxin. Like she's
Yeah, he's
really
like
like hunting him down.
yeah, that's what he's saying. So numb, can't move. There's
You can see
something
his face swelling. Like
yeah.
it's so good, man.
Yeah,
I
there's
love it.
and she's like, "There's something special about you, Chase. Equality. I just want to gobble you up, you know." And pretty much there's something special about you. That was he pretty was just telling her that, hey, there's something special about you. Come to this whole place,
Yep.
and now he's getting what he deserved.
Yep. Look at him. Like they're knocking
Oh
on his
man,
door for showtime, trying to tell him to get ready, trying to tell him how much money he's losing. And
yeah.
this person goes in his room, and it is like the worst episode of Law and Order in there, man. It really,
But
really is.
this just goes back. Who inked it? Oh man,
Here,
I
let me look
believe.
back. You keep looking. I'll look back. I'll see
Yeah,
what's.
I know Raphael was the artist, but I don't know if he was the same inker as well.
That's the only art credit they give in this book is Raphael Albuquerque.
Yeah.
They don't. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Colors, Dave McCraig. Yeah, it just said the only art credits are Raphael Albuquerque and Dave McCraig.
Well, Dave McCree, you did a great job with the colors, and Raphael, great line
Yeah.
work. Oh man.
It's been such a fun read. Like
Hmm.
this was a good book to start on. Like, and
Yeah.
it was this is a welcome back to horror because I just like after Hellraiser, man, like
Hmm.
I was like, ugh, like, but this has been a fun book. Like I'm really in, and I'm getting more into it every
Yeah.
week. You
And
know,
I just love this whole panel shot of the three panels because literally it's the same room, but drawn in three different ways. You have the
yep,
close up of the hand, you have her now talking to the director, and you only see the shadow of the director and now turning the key. You know, just goes back to how we've talked about in the before with our episodes in the past. You could take a boring room and make it exciting by drawing it in different ways, like
yeah.
with the
You
hand
control
doing
the
this and
camera
doing that.
angle. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
So yeah.
What's the only exciting thing in this page? It would be the hand knocking on the door.
Hmm.
Okay, so minimize everything else we need other than the hand on the door.
Yeah.
Now, what else? You need something to break it up, and then the key in the door. I love like that's probably my favorite
Oh yeah.
panel on this page. Is
Hmm.
it just gives it just so much motion in such a small page, and you feel that door opening to like
Yeah.
get to this scene.
So is everyone ready to see what happened to Hamilton? It is gruesome, and I love it.
Exactly.
Look at that.
Again, if it counts and it means something, like
Hmm.
gruesome works, like it does. And there's not even this book has more than a little bit of gruesome,
Yeah.
but it was all for a purpose. It
Now
was all for a purpose.
I don't know if this was your shot that you want, but I could definitely see this being a poster as well. It
No,
is just
mine was the red flowers.
okay.
That
The red
was
flowers,
yeah.
gotcha.
But I did like both of the horror scenes.
Hmm.
The vampire when Pearl turned
Yeah,
and this page like this was a very powerful endpoint.
yeah. Like at this point, you could literally tell he is completely like drained of all of his blood. He's completely skinny. I mean, look at how the left arm, she's completely shredded the skin and tore the muscle up that you see here. And literally, instead of just biting the neck a little, she literally tore it
She
down to
tore it
almost to the
straight.
peck.
Yeah, she made him feel it. Like she
Yeah.
went to town. Like he got massacred,
Yeah.
and
She's like, I'm going to make you feel everything that they did to me,
he kind of
pretty
deserved it,
much.
you know.
Hmm.
Like, and he went
But
out with all the fame that he promised her, like right in his Hollywood dressing room.
yeah. And now we just have like this I think this is still part of the yeah. Hmm. Oh no, this is part of the new one.
The
Is it?
next one, yeah,
Yeah. Okay, we'll stop it there for
yep,
Bad Blood. So yeah, just really awesome stuff. Really
yeah,
love this
really
book.
good. I would give this book a 8 out of 10. Like
For yeah, for sure.
this is the strongest 8 out of 10 that I don't want to give many nines and tens out of tens unless I absolutely have
Hmm.
to. I've this story was this story reinvested me back into this book, you
Yeah.
know, and it was just a step stronger than the last issue and like like here's our world now, like now we're
Hmm.
here and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah, this the last book was really good. Ex- as like a western story setting up towards like a horror theme at the end, but just really great writing overall between Snyder and King. It just shows you how great those two are of creating a story.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yeah, well done, like well done pages, well done story.
Yep.
I'm excited.
All
I
right.
was looking, Ronnie, before we get done, but
Yeah.
I was
Let me.
looking like our 1 year is May 17th.
Yep.
Like
May
that's coming
17th.
right up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited. Like we got to figure out what we're gonna do. We're gonna do something. We'll do something special that day.
Yeah, for sure. even if it's not a review and we just talk about like one of our typical horror topics.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
We should cook up something. I think that's a fine goal, and we got plenty of story in the middle of it. But
Hmm.
I'm curious to see what we do for year one. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't have much tonight. Like this is a short read. Yes, we
Oh
will
yeah,
mark the occasion
for
for
sure.
sure.
All right.
My
So
wheels are turning. Like I almost just kind of want to chew on that for a minute
yeah,
because
right.
I knew it was coming up last week, but it's like
Yeah.
right now it's far enough away for us to like
Hmm.
really like think of something and make that a more than just a video day. But I just unless it's something crazy, I'd like to do whatever day that falls on. I'd like to do the video on that day
You said the
because
17th.
17th because this has been quite the year, and it's been quite the year for us to be. I mean, we've had a couple of gaps, but I feel like we've been fairly consistent.
Oh yeah, and I mean we've covered so many great books. And
Yeah,
when I started this, I wasn't even imagining in the beginning to have like special guests on the show and current ones.
yeah. And then
You
we
know.
had Scott Circlin, we had Gary Hodges. Like we reviewed like the old school stuff. We reviewed new stuff. We reviewed
Hmm.
indie stuff. Like, and we found good stuff. And
It's a
it's
Tuesday,
changed me. It's a Monday.
Monday, the May
No, that's
17th.
20. Yeah. May 17th is a
Oh
Monday.
yeah, what did it say 2022? My calendar. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a Monday.
Yeah, it's
Going
on
too far.
Monday. Yeah, way too. That's a 2 year.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But
That's a Monday.
yeah, like it's changed. Like this channel has changed me as a creator, like 100%.
That's good.
Like
I'm
there's so
happy.
much. My writing has changed so much. I didn't even know I wanted to write horror.
Hmm.
Even like the first week that we did it, like I wanted to know more about it, but it wasn't what I wanted to write.
Yeah.
But now it's like this is the sandbox. Like this is the
Hmm.
sandbox that I want to have a stake in, like
Yeah.
a real stake.
No puns
And
intended.
no, like or maybe who knows,
Right.
you know? But I'm excited. Like, and
Yeah.
it's this channel has like opened me up as a creator, and it's been a fun year. It's been a crazy year, but
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited. You know,
we got to
like I
talk
said,
more often.
I always go back to it. It's great that you said yes.
Man, it was a good choice. Like I'm glad that you thought of me, and I'll even speak for Ogre. I'm glad you thought of me and Ogre to do it with
Yeah.
because I wish that he was around too, but
Yeah.
everybody's got to do their own thing, and
Hmm.
so this has been a fun project. It's been a fun process. This book introduced me to Junji Ito properly,
Oh yeah.
and that counts for a lot.
Hmm.
That's one of my definite go-tos, like through when I'm trying to write through something. So I'm excited. We'll think of
Awesome.
something, and I think it'll be awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right. Well,
All right.
I'll let you plug
All right.
anything.
Find me on Instagram, y'all. Fallbreaker Studios. Mini comic bundles. 3 comics a month. $5 a month. Get the whole year for $60, and you get access to a series of web comics and a series of flash fiction that I'm doing. So find us at minicomicbundles.com. Find me at Fallbreaker Studios. That's about all I got. Like, stay tuned. There's always something new cooking.
Yeah. And me, you're here on my channel. If you're new, please hit that like button, subscribe, because there's great more content between me and my co-star here. You won't be disappointed. And
Yeah.
you could find me also on Facebook and Instagram as Crimson Isle Comics. You know, I'm doing the 12 days of holiday horror, which I did came out with the St. Patrick's Day Leprechaun. I got my horror comic in the development that's going to be out at the end of the year. So some exciting stuff, people. Can't wait
Y'all
to
stay
get in your
tuned.
hands.
This is going to be a spectacular. I'm gonna say I'm not even gonna say a year. I'm gonna say this will be a spectacular 120 days.
Awesome.
So 6 months. Like, let's see what happens. A little bit less than 6 months, but let's make it count.
All right.
All right. We'll see y'all.
Bye,
Y'all be
everyone.
good.